Hello everyone, I am Aishwarya.R from STNCET, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Here, I am going to explain about stuffing in data frames using C programming. These are the contents. So, before we should know what is meant by stuffing in data frames. It is a technique used in data communication to avoid confusion between actual data and the control information. It ensures that the receiver correctly interprets the start and the end of the frames, even if the data contains patterns similar to those used for framing. The main purpose of stuffing in data frame is to ensure data integrity and to prevent confusion led by the actual data and the control sequence. There are two main types of stuffing, bit stuffing and the character stuffing. So what is bit stuffing? Bit stuffing, it is a process of adding one extra zero whenever 5 consecutive ones follow a zero in the data so that the receiver does not mistake the pattern for a flag. Even if there is a zero after 5 ones, the zero has to be stuffed. At the receiver end, the zero will be removed. As we know that any message that is transmitted is of variable size frame, then the receiver must be made to know which is the start and the end of the frame. So for that we use the flag. So we add flag at the start and the end of the frame. Now we are doing this. The flag content must be similar as a message to be sent, and hence to avoid it we use the bit stuffing. Here, this is the data from the upper layer. So when the frame is to be sent, it is stuffed. So after 5 consecutive ones, a 0 is stuffed. And at the receiver end, when the receiver receives the 5 consecutives incoming 1 bit followed by a 0 bit, it automatically destuffs the 0 bit and get back the original data message. So this is about the bit stuffing. And now, the character stuffing. Character stuffing is a technique used in data communication to distinguish control information from the actual data being transmitted. Special characters are used to mark the start and the end of the frame. If such a character appears in the data, a escape character is inserted before it. So, here if the data itself accidentally contains the same special character, then this problem is solved by inserting an escape character before any character in the data that could be mistaken for a control character. This tells the receiver the next character is a part of the data, not a control code. So, for example, here the data is hello world, in which it contains a flag title which marks the start and end of the frame. So, during the stuffing of the data, a escape character is added. In actual data, to avoid confusion, the title is preceded by an escape character. So, now we look at the code. This is the bit stuffing code. So here the string bit stuffing, it defines a function in bit stuffing that takes a constant string as an input. Here the input is binary data that needs to be stuffed. Then create an empty string called stuff that will hold the final bit stuffed output. Next, initialize the count equal to 0, a counter to track the number of consecutive ones while iterating through data. Next, a for loop. This is a range based for loop that iterates over each character in a input string data. Next, here it appends the current bit to the substring. Next, the condition is checked. Check if current bit is 1, then increment the counter for a consecutive ones. Next, if counter equal to 5. If 5 consecutive ones have been found, then a 0 is appended to the stuff. Next, so this is called the bit stuffing. Next, it resets the count equal to 0. So after stuffing, since the sequence of 1 is broken, else block. Here in else block, the count is reset to 0. This means we broke the chain of consecutive ones. This is the end of the for loop. Next, here return stuffed. Here it returns the original stuffed data. Now we will run the code. So this is the original data. Here when the data is transmitted, after the consecutive 5 ones, a 0 is stuffed. Here after the 5 ones, a 0 is stuffed. So this is called the bit stuffing. Now we will run the character stuffing. So this is the code of the character stuffing. Here the string character stuffing, this is a function which takes a const reference to a string data and returns a stuffed version. Here the const ensures that the input string won't be modified. Next, create a string called stuff. Here it initializes with the start of text character which marks the beginning of the frame. It is just a placeholder convention. In real protocols, start of text is often ASCII. Next, the for loop. Here in the for loop, here each character in the input data string checks if the character is a special character. If the character is a special character, then we must escape it. If it is a special character, we insert an escape character. This tells the receiver the next character is part of the data, not a delimiter or the control character. Then we add the actual character to the substring. This is the end of the loop, and here append the end of the text character in the end of the stuffed data. This marks the end of the frame. Next, return stuffed data returns the final stuffed string, which now includes the escape sequence and framing character. Now we run the code. So this is the original data, hello at world slash test. So here before the stuff data, before the hello, at the beginning of the frame is added, that is at, and wherever the special characters are there, skip character is added before that. This is the character stuffing. Thank you.